In today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to cut this bubu gown. First thing we are doing is to fold our lace fabric, and we are folding our lace fabric according to the shoulder measurement. Now, to get the shoulder measurement, all you have to do is to measure your shoulder and then add your sleeve length to it. So for example, the shoulder I'm using is 14 divided by 2 is 7 inches. I had to pause to explain. So 7 inches, a sleeve length of 20 inches or whatever sleeve length it is, you simply say 20 plus 7 inches 27. So for the one in the picture, the sleeve length should be around 22 inches. So 22 plus 7 inches, that's 29. So this fabric will be folded, or your fabric will be folded by 29 inches. Okay, so after that, you go ahead and mark. That becomes our shoulder line. Please take note, that becomes our shoulder line because of course the sleeve length is included, and that is what I have gone ahead to mark. The next thing I went ahead to mark is the place where I want the cowl to stop. The cowl is that large that effect by the side rather, and I first of all marked 40 inches, but later I decided to go up by 36 inches because by the time we'll be shaping, which we'll be doing later in the video, you will see how it will be. So it is very simple. Okay, so we marked our shoulder line, then we came down vertically to mark. You can see I marked 36 inches. So instead of 40 inches, I decided to mark 36 inches. And as we proceed, you see what we are doing. Basically, this is a cowl gown, but with outside stitching. It's a very simple gown. Now on that 36 inches, I just marked a free measurement. I was drafting for a hip of 43 inches. So up at that 36 inches down to the length, I just added, like, I marked 12 and a half, that's 15, because by the time I'm done sewing with half inch allowance, I'll be left with 48. So if whatever measurement you are using, just add 5 inches to the measurement and divide by 4. That is to enable it to be free, so that the person will be comfortable to walk and the dress will just be comfortable. So whatever measurement you are using, add 5 inches to the hip and go ahead and mark. So you can see we mark that straight line down. And like I said, it's for ease. We don't want the gown to be tight after the knee. Okay, so that's what we have there. Now the next thing I did, from that shoulder, I'm marking 13 inches for my armhole length. Of course, this is a free bubu gown, so we don't need it fitted at the arm area. So I marked 13 inches, and from that point, watch what I'm going to do. I'm just going to connect it to this point, as so. So can you see what we have? After doing it, look at the shape we have. This is not the kind of shape we want. This shape is too pointy. So I'm going ahead to use my chalk and blend it. Now can you see this? So just use your chalk and blend it. Okay, now you can see that. So I blend it because we don't want pointy edges, we just want it to blend. And trust me, we are done. This is everything you need for the cutting of the gown. Now for the neckline, you may be wondering, how about the neck? You can actually make this dress. What we have in the picture, there was no neckline. All you just have to do is to cut it out and then cut the front piece and the back piece, then just measure from where you want your neck to begin. For example, for the one in the picture, if you want it to be off shoulder, you can just measure 7 inches on both sides and then begin to hold your sleeve down. Okay, so as we proceed, I'll show you what I'm talking about, but for now we are going ahead to cut our gown, and it's very simple. So can you see? So we are cutting from down. Go ahead and cut up to that sleeve point and then go ahead and cut. No neckline, no serious no serious markings. This is just all about the gown. Your shoulder line, where you want the cowl to stop, and your gown length. Now, since if you have a gown length, if your lace is not up to your gown length, you will just attach down. Cut what you have, cut another lace and attach it down, and that is all. Very simple. So the next thing, this is me just placing the back piece, and you can see, like I said, it's very simple. After you cut the same shape, just go ahead and measure the opening you want for your neck. You don't have to cut it. For this lace, I cut it at some point, just in case you don't want the neck too high. You can go ahead and cut a neckline, and then when you are done cutting, you can attach pattern on the neck. But if you don't want to attach the pattern separately, don't cut out your neckline. Just measure your neck opening. For example, if you want your neck opening to be 10 inches or 12 inches or 14 inches, just go ahead and measure. For the one in the picture, you can just measure 13 inches or 14 inches depending on the person's shoulder width, and then leave that opening as for your neck. Then go ahead and sew the remaining part of the sides for the sleeve, and it is that simple. Very, very simple. So I'm going ahead to cut out my back piece. And you can see I'm done cutting it out. Can you see? I'm done cutting it out. Now the next thing I will do, I'll just open it up and close up the sides, and I'll be showing you where to close. Now can you see I've opened it up? Now look at what I'm trying to show you. Just measure from the center. You should be able to know the center of the lace. Very important. Please mark the center of the lace. It was not very clear in this video because this is a dark colored lace, so it wasn't very clear. But mark the center of your lace. So from the center you can measure. If you want your neck width to be 14 inches or 13 or 12 inches, you can go ahead and, let's say we are working with 12 inches, go ahead and measure 6 on both sides, and then from that point you close up the shoulder. Now can you see what I'm showing you? But if you feel the neck in the picture is too high, you can deepen it. Then you use your lace trimming to place at the top. So I'm going ahead to close up the sides. So leave the opening for your neck. From there, close up the shoulder, the remaining part of the shoulder. Then you go ahead and close up the sides. So can you see what I'm showing you? Go ahead, and after you close up the shoulder, go ahead and close up the sides. Leave your armhole. That 13 inches that we left for our armhole becomes our sleeve. Okay, it becomes the place where we are going to, our sleeve is going to come out. So leave that place open, and then just go ahead and sew by the side. So can you see that's your sleeve? Don't close that part. Close your shoulder, then close the side all the way to the down. Okay, it's very simple. It's very, very simple. So I took this to the machine, and you can see what I've done. I've closed it up. So can you see I've closed up the shoulder, I've closed up the sides. For want of time, I didn't iron it. This video I had to really do it in good time. So I close up the shoulder, I've closed up the sides. You can see everything is closed. After you've done this, just give it a very good press. Okay, give it a very, very good press. And then the next thing you want to do, if you know how to sew a butterfly gown, you know a butterfly gown is just straight. You just mark your shape and just sew that straight line in the middle. That's what we are going to do here. What we are going to do at this point is to get the middle of the gown. Remember I said you must be able to note the middle part of the gown. So get the middle of the gown, and then that 36 inches we marked in the beginning, 36 inches vertically, also mark it. So can you see what I'm trying to locate is the middle of the gown? Yes, I'm marking the middle of the gown. I've gotten the middle of the gown. Then the next thing, like I said, the length, mark your 36 inches or even 40, depending on where the shape stops. And then we are going to be marking that 13 inches. Of course, 13 inches is where our sleeve is coming out from. So from that point, from the middle of the gown, we are going ahead to mark 12 inches. Remember, for the width we left 12.5 inches, so I'm just going ahead to leave 12 inches because after sewing we'll be having 12 inches. So it's just a free gown. Like I said, I'm working with a hip of 43 inches, so I added 5 inches for ease allowance. So 45 divided by 48 divided by 4 is what is giving me that 12 inches, and I'm just going to sew on this straight line. Can you see what I've done? I just connected the line to where that shaping stopped, and I'm going to sew on this straight line. I'll show you what it looks like. Now this is it. It's just like your butterfly gown. Like I said, this gown is very simple to make, very simple. You can make this gown in a matter of minutes. So you can see, so that is what gives it that effect you can see in the video. This is the neck. This lace does not have lace trimming, that is why you can't see any lace trimming, but this is the neck, and it's depending on how wide you want it to be. This wideness I had here was 15 inches wideness, and it felt very wide, so you can make yours smaller, like I said, 14 inches, 13 inches or 12 inches. And I had to put this lace on another dress because it was transparent. But can you see this? Look at, we sew outside on the top of the lace, okay, so that we get that butterfly cowl effect, and we are done. Our dress is ready. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye.